Absolutely. Okay, so the surface area of a cone with a slant height h and radius base r can be found using the formula SA equals pi r squared plus pi r h. Find the radius of the base of the cone shown here. All right, so what we have to do is we need to find the height of this cone. Now, the slant height doesn't help us in terms of the equation itself. But, or does it? Hold on a second here. Yes, it does. So that's 21. Okay, sorry. So I've got my slant height, which is 232 pi. Plus pi r squared plus pi radius, and then my height is 21. Okay, so now the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide everything by pi, because each one has a pi. I want to get rid of it, and then I want to get it equal to 0. So cross out my pi, and then I'm going to go 0 is equal to r squared plus 21r minus 232. Okay, so now I need to find factors of 232 that add to give me 21, all right, or negative 232. So I'm going to break this down. We'll start with with 2. Let's make it negative 2. It doesn't matter. Negative 2, and that gives me 116. So then I'm going to go 2 and 58. That's still not close enough. And then I'm going to try 2 and 29. Okay. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So my factors are 8 and 29. And that would have to be a plus, and that would have to be a minus. Okay, so I used my prime factorization. Didn't use the calculator. And I just started with 2 because I knew that it went into it evenly. Okay, so now I go back to here. 2 sets of brackets, r and r. And I have minus 8 and plus 29. R is equal to 8 and negative 29. And it can't be a negative 29. So the solution has to be 8 for that question. So my radius is 8. And that's a pretty straightforward question, as long as I think the easiest thing to do there is to substitute in the values first and then solve for that question. Okay. Again, it all comes down to factoring now, which is weird because there's no square roots involved in this question, really. So I'm not sure. Let's make sure. I'm going to just check that to make sure it's right. .3, question 10. Yeah. So we got that correct there. Okay. Did you have any other questions this morning? IB and 218. Okay. Again, I'm just recording time so when I come off of this. Oh, 218. Okay. All right, square root x over 10 is equal to 3x subtract 58. All right, so first things first is we would have to isolate, but in this case, we're fortunate that both of them are isolate. You can isolate both of them, and we can just square them now. So basically, what I have is that x over 10 equals 3x minus 58. I can multiply everything by 10. Like that. I can add, I'm just going to subtract 30x. So that gives me minus 29x equals minus 580. And then x is equal to 20. Okay, so now I've got to throw it in here to see if I've got the right answer. So I've got 20 over 10 should be equal to the square root of 3 times 20. Not bad. 3 times 20, subtract 58, square root 2, square root 2. Both of them work out. So we know that their correct answer is x equals 20. Okay? There hasn't been a lot of questions asked in this section, so I feel like you guys are a lot more confident with it than you were last year. You're one and only. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to get it done. We want to wrap this up sometime this week, Amy. So I would get through it today as best you can. I'm going to give you a test / assignment. It's not a test, but it is an old test, but it'll be given to you tomorrow. I'm going to stick it on Edmodo for an assignment just so you can wrap this up this week. Okay, so if you got into the review today, if you're through 5.3 from yesterday, then certainly you should be into the review today and working on it. Okay. Page 197, question 10. Okay. So 12 minutes in. Tyson has a square dog run. With a perimeter of 32 feet. He wants to split the dog run diagonally. What is your length of the diagonal section of fencing that Tyson will need to install? Show your reasoning. Okay. So I have 32 feet. Then that means then that if it's a square dog run, then all of my X's, okay, I take 4x equals 32. X equals 8, right? And then to get my length, what does it ask for? It asks for the length of the diagonal section of the fencing that Tyson will need to install. So then I simply go 8 squared plus 8 squared is equal to L squared. Okay, so I have 64 plus 64 is equal to L squared. L is equal to 128, the square root of it. And then if we can break down 28, which we clearly can, that would be root 64 times root 2, which would give me 8 root 2. Okay, now I'm going to check that one as well because I'm just curious as to how they write the answer out. Section is 1. Yeah. Okay. And okay. I think the biggest thing, girls, is that number one is rationalizing denominators, especially when you need the conjugates. Okay. And the square roots when there are more than solving for the equations when there are more than one square root. Those are basically the two aspects of these radical equations that you'd have the most difficulty with. So, for example, you know, question 7D on 225. That's one of the longer ones, and the same with 10D on 226. Both those are the two questions that will test your ability. Okay. Uh, 196, question 8, sure. All right, so, excuse me. Oh no, I lost my page. Okay, the flow rate equation of a nozzle of a hose is R equals 6D squared P. Where R is the flow rate in gallons per minute, D is the diameter of the nozzle in inches, and P is the pressure of the nozzle in pounds per square inch. What is the diameter of a hose with a nozzle pressure of 3 pounds per inch squared and a flow rate of 162 gallons per minute? All right. So what we need to do then is we need to substitute into this equation. So R is the rate in gallons per minute. So that's 162 gallons. I've got 6D squared times, and the pressure in the nozzle is pounds per square inch. So we've got that 3. Okay. Oh. All right. Do it for fun then. So I've got 162 divided by 18 is 9. D squared is equal to 9. D is equal to 3. That's my diameter. All right. Okay. Do we have the weekend for the review or just Friday? Like you're into spring break already, so like I'll take it back in whenever you get it. It's not a big deal. We clearly aren't doing anything over the break, but yeah, you'll get as much time as you need. I may even post it later today. We'll see. We'll see how many questions I get today, and we'll go from there. But I kind of want you to make sure that you've done that review, because the review covers all of the particular questions that you need. So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to finish that before I give you an assignment. So to answer your question, you have Friday or you have the entire spring break to get it back in. How are we making out? Is everybody okay? Any questions? Okay, good job. We'll see you. Let me know if you need any help. I'll be on here until probably noon today, Amy. Okay, I'm going to end this stream just to, so there's not so much dead space. I will be back on in about 5 minutes. So come back on with me in 5 minutes and I'll still answer questions. Okay?